Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us for our Getting Ready for Your Spring Detox. I am Michelle Blake. You might recognize me from being in the Facebook group and answering all your questions and supporting you. I have my friend Lauren Davies helping us out today, and we're going to give you some tips and go over some helpful detox questions that you have and tips, why we detox, all that good stuff. Hello, Lauren.
Happy Friday, Mish, and happy Friday, everybody. I cannot believe that it's been 12 weeks, and one of the best parts of this detox for me is when our community come together. I get goosebumps. It's very exciting. And we join together from all around the world, and we shed the old season and we get ready for the new season with our quarterly detox. So I'm so excited to be here. Hello to all of you watching, and I'm really excited today to get into, why we detox, tips on how to get started, the common mistakes that some people make, or, things that you can try and avoid, and then top tips to prepare. So, Mish, hand it over to you. Let's share with our community why it is that detoxing is no longer something that we should do. It's something that we should do, not actually something that we just, might not or might choose not to do.
Right. A lot of people would argue that, yeah, our bodies detox on a daily basis, which is true. Our liver does detox our blood every 6 minutes, but it was not meant to detox the thousands of man-made chemicals that are in our environment and that we come in contact with every day, whether it be, car pollution or antibiotics or alcohol, all the processed foods that are now available. Everywhere we turn, anything we do, we are exposed to toxins. Some of it we can control, some of it we can't. So we do this quarterly detox to help our liver with phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. It's a program that Dr. Cabral created years ago and has proven to work for thousands. And there's a free detox course, which we can link to. It goes over all the whys and the how-tos, and it goes into a lot of great information. So that's why we need to detox every quarter.
I think that's something for me that always stands out every time is that even though, I'm going into my sixth year of doing this reset, and I have no intention of ever stopping because I tend to try my best to live a healthy lifestyle. I've started to adapt so many principles from this detox in the course of my journey. And over the last 12 weeks, so we did our New Year's detox after the festive season, and it kind of resets you, it strips everything back, and it breaks things down into really simple steps. And over the last 3 to 4 weeks, especially, I've noticed a few more snacks, maybe a couple more drinks, maybe a few more social occasions, and old habits die hard. And such a huge part of this detox process is really just quietening the noise. And I always say it's like a gift that I give back to my body because any food and any drinks that we want are available all the time. We live in an abundant, overindulgent society. And people say to me, "Oh, you're always detoxing," or, why do you restrict yourself? And it's really not about that. It's about when you simplify things, when you give your body exactly what it needs to function, it is really humbling to see, when you put your body in the position to function as it was designed to without over consuming sugar, alcohol, processed foods, or just too much food in general, you really just feel so much better. So for me, it's all about kind of getting back to those daily foundational steps that really make us feel our best. So I'm really excited. And I also know that starting is hard. Mish, today I said to you, "Are you ready to detox?" And you said to me, La, I'm not ready to give up eating. Well, let's just say we don't give up eating for good, but I think it actually brings us back to the awareness of, those little things that are sneaking in that might be keeping us, a little bit off track. So I'm really excited.
You don't have to tell all the secrets that I say to you in private.
Not all of them, not all of them.
That brings us to a good point, though. There's never a perfect time, especially if you're following up with a longer protocol like the CBO protocol or the heavy metal detox or what I'm going to be doing, the mold detox soon. So there's never a perfect time. Choose it, choose your time, schedule it, get it done. And if you're not perfect, don't stress about it. It's not about being perfect. It's about progression and making those healthy choices. And really a total body reset. It helps with your metabolism and hormones and digestion and just getting back into a eating routine, getting rid of those snacks that most people do not need midday or mid-morning. We don't need to be eating all day long. We need to give our digestion a rest. All those things are implemented in the detox and the guidelines. So um, one of the things we like to talk about is prior to the detox is things you can do to get ready for it. And one of those big things is don't try to give up caffeine unless you're really wanting to give up caffeine. Do that a week or two prior, like wean off caffeine slowly. Don't do it the day you start your detox, because otherwise you will have caffeine withdrawal symptoms and you'll blame it on the detox and you will not feel well. Trust me, I've tried it. So anyway, get your grocery shopping done beforehand, get your teas in order, if you're going to make some recipes, get those lined up, get those, ingredients bought and purchased ahead of time. So you are prepared when day 3 comes, when you start introducing whole foods.
Definitely. And I think there was actually an email that went out, was yesterday, the spring detox recipe success. Whether for me in South Africa, I'm going into autumn, you're going into spring, but no matter where you are in the world, we have a detox recipe guide for every season. So please check those out or check out this week's email or send us a message and we can send them to you. But there's some great recipes. I really don't encourage you to leave your shopping until day 3. It's never a good idea to shop when you're hungry in the first place. And I like to really use this weekend to plan your meals, to do a bit of shopping, to get ready. Because when you start your fast on Monday, also be open-minded to not setting up too many expectations on how you might or might not feel. It is such an individual process. And it really comes down to your starting point, what your habits and diet and lifestyle patterns have been like over the last 3 months. What I really don't encourage anybody to do is to really overindulge this weekend. Whether you're detoxing or not, there's a quote that I love which says, don't let your weekend become your weekend. Because, starting a healthy eating plan or trying to make healthier choices, these are things that are consistently going to make us feel our best. And when you start the fast on Monday, it's 2.5 days of not eating. We want to go in as balanced as possible. So if you want to have a drink, keep it to 1 or 2, maybe on the Saturday, but really try not to go crazy this weekend. Do your shopping and your prep beforehand, and really just go in with an open mind, because there's a lot of mindset work around our thoughts become things. And Michelle and I answer questions in the detox community every quarter. And some people, we go in scared of how we might or might not feel after not eating. And you actually might surprise yourself. Some people feel amazing. Some people feel lower energy. And that's actually normal if you aren't eating any food. But really kind of go in, focus on the day that you're in, because that's the only day that we have control over. And a really important point is that if you need to modify, you can. The fasting days, yes, if you follow the process as closely as possible, you're going to get the best results. But every single body is different based on where you are in your health. So you might do 1 fasting day, you might do 2 fasting days. You might decide that for you this time around, you're going to follow day 3 to 7 the whole way through. So listen to your body, let it be your guide, and know that Michelle and I are there every day with you, every step of the way, and our community. And we're really excited.
Yeah, I like that comment about not expecting anything, and don't compare yourself to anybody else's journey either, because we all experience different things at different times. Some people, like you said, feel great on those fasting days. Some people really struggle. And remember, it's okay to feel hunger. One thing that really helps me between shakes and between meals and shakes is to sip on hot herbal tea. I like ginger tea, I like peppermint tea, hibiscus tea. Those are some of my favorites. Just having that warmth and a warmth liquid going in, it just really helps satiate those hunger pains, in my opinion. So another thing that we like to talk about is other supplements. Many people ask, what should I do about taking my other daily supplements during the protocol? Generally, we recommend during the fasting days or the shake fast days, omit those regular daily supplements. Most of them are best to be taken with food anyway. So you want to take them with food when they need to be taken with food to get the most out of them. So just give your body a break. Some people give their body a break for the whole week, and that's fine too. Do what's best for you. Some of them you might need, some of them like magnesium or sleep help or digestive enzymes when you do introduce whole foods are great. So take what you need. Everybody's different.
I think we are all different, and one of the biggest benefits for me of this detox is the simplicity of it. I love food, I love cooking, and I don't actually eat that dissimilarly on or off detox. The things that really do change for me are food variety. So if you've had a look at the detox approved food list, it's very small. And people will write in and say, oh, why can't we have this or why can't we have that? And very often they are healthy foods. As a rule of thumb, as something to make this process as easy as possible. Also, to just give you a break from the kitchen and make it as easy as you can. It can be hard enough. It's like if it's not on the list, there's a reason why it's not on the list. It's out. And the best part is it's only 7 days or 14 days or 21 days if you're doing a 21-day detox. There's a quote that I love, which says, you only know how good you can feel when you stop doing things that don't make you feel so good. And even sometimes healthy foods are not healthy for you right now. So I really encourage you to use this opportunity to strip things back, to get creative in the kitchen with a handful of ingredients. Like as I say, I love food, I love cooking, but for me, it's like how can we create delicious, balanced meals with healthy fats, a protein, plant-based at lunch, animal-based at dinner, and 1 to 3 cups of veggies and varieties of veggies, easy to digest. There's always loads of flavor. Simple does not mean boring. And I use it as a rest from the kitchen, get re-inspired and create some delicious recipes and then share them with our community because that is really the fun part of this process for all of us.
Yeah, I'm like you. Simple. I eat pretty simply, even off detox. I pick my protein, I pick my vegetables, I pick my fat. Bingo. It's really that easy. And that's how simple you should eat. Definitely during the detox. Fancy recipes are not needed. I know I put that all the time in the group. They really aren't. But inside the group, inside this group right here, we have literally hundreds of detox meals, detox recipes that people have shared. You can use the search function, type in your keyword or an ingredient maybe you're looking for, maybe just type in tofu, and you're going to see a whole bunch of recipes that are and meal ideas that people have shared using tofu. And it's really great that, like you said, our community is sharing these things and inspiring others to create these beautiful meals. And they're just nutritious and simple. That's what your body needs. It's easier on your mind to not have to worry about a fancy recipe. So keeping it simple is a big, big key.
Absolutely. And we have Victoria. Thank you for joining us on the live. Victoria is saying her favorite dinner is wild salmon, asparagus, or broccoli. Absolutely. Michelle is a broccoli girl at heart, and so am I. And she has a favorite salad, which I'm sure she'd love to tell us about. And broccoli is actually featured in this week's detox email. There are so many things you can do with single ingredients. Broccoli 4 ways. Mish, tell us about your salad.
Yeah, one of my favorite meals, whether I'm detoxing or not, is to steam my broccoli. A lot of times I'll just do that in vegetable broth in a pan on the stove. And I take my greens, whether it be spinach or mixed greens or whatever it is that I have on hand, arugula I like to have, put those on my plate. I put my steamed broccoli on top so it kind of wilts the greens a little bit, sprinkle with hemp hearts, olive oil, sea salt, done. That's an amazing lunch. It tastes amazing, especially after 2.5 days of shake fast days. I'll also maybe do that with steamed carrots or a mixture of broccoli and carrots. So again, keep it simple, keep the variety small. I know some of these recipes you might see have 5, 6, 7 different vegetables. While that looks pretty and it's delicious, especially on day 3 and 4, when you're just introducing foods after 2.5 days of just shakes, start with that small variety. Your body will thank you.
It really, really will. And I love personally, I love tofu. I also love hemp hearts. I just find for me, I'm a food volume girl. So what I wanted to say is that, yes, this detox, you're going to be eating significantly less calories than you normally would because one, you're cutting out a whole meal. you're also cutting out snacking. And cutting out snacking can have so many advantages in terms of just bringing your awareness to mindless eating or eating because you're actually hungry. So coming back to volume, so I love tofu. I also love butter beans, but introducing too much fiber if you aren't used to it can cause a lot of digestive issues in some people. I used to be a hummus well, I am a hummus junkie, chickpeas. I eat predominantly butter beans now, but really kind of, mix it up. And if you find that you are really, really hungry, like it's okay to be a bit hungry because you're going to be eating less calories, but we don't need you to feel uncomfortably hungry for the whole detox process. If you're eating a whole plate of sweet potato versus a whole plate of broccoli, you know, you're going to fill your tummy with broccoli for substantially a lot less energy, a lot less calories. So it really is a way to learn about how to nourish your body in a healthy, balanced way, and kind of bring yourself to awareness to your own patterns and how to create this balance in your own life, whether it's on or off detox.
Yeah, those are some great tips. One of the things people ask about is seasonings. You can really change a dish, your steamed broccoli, you can change it by the seasonings or herbs that you add. And some people don't like the lemon or lime juice for salad dressing with olive oil. You could blend up some avocado and add a little olive oil to that, or avocado and water and your herbs of choice. Make a dressing by that. Another good one is just thinned out hummus. That makes a wonderful dressing. And you don't have to eat salads. I know a lot of people think I don't like salads. This time of year, going into spring, salads are great for some people, but not everybody. And they are hard to digest for some people. So don't feel like you have to have salads. I know we have a lot of pictures of salads that people eat, but it's not required. So the requirement is to choose the foods that work for you. And as Lauren suggested just a couple minutes ago, don't if you're not used to eating fiber, beans and lentils and that sort of thing, don't try to eat 2 cups of them at once because your digestive system will suffer. So start small, have hemp hearts, have something else beside it, if you need more protein. But again, and the amounts that are listed are suggestions only. Eat enough for your body type, what you're doing for your activities, your wellness goals. If you're not trying to lose weight, then you're not going to, worry so much about the amount. If you are trying to lose weight, then yeah, try to cut back a little bit and, but just don't be uncomfortably full when you are eating.
And I think it brings me to an important, something for me that always comes up is that, as I say, I try to live a healthy lifestyle. And after we've done our 2.5 days of fasting, when I do break my fast and I eat again, it just tends to reset my fullness signals. So it's not that I want to be eating less, but I really want to kind of eat more I want to honor my hunger and fullness signals more. And I think over the course of the 12 weeks, I tend to sometimes get a little bit dysregulated, maybe like eating a bit too much or, eating if I'm tired and overeating or if I have a few drinks or I kind of get dysregulated. So it just kind of resets those hunger signals, as you say, eating to your body and your fullness level. But we've had a question that came in from Maya. I hope I'm saying your name right. You say, I thought tofu is bad for you, high in estrogen or increased estrogen in my body, and soy in general. So just to give you a quick summary on our live, so soya, processed soya, is different to tofu, which is made from soybean as a whole food. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mish, but there is a difference. So we don't want to be over consuming anything. I would say if you have a health imbalance where you're dealing with estrogen imbalances, then potentially you might want to minimize it. But generally, if you're eating non-GMO or organic sprouted tofu, generally in a whole food form, you're going to be okay. But soya and tofu, processed soya and tofu, whole food tofu are not the same. That's right, Mish?
Correct. Yeah. And if you, like you said, if you do have an imbalance with estrogen and you need to not eat those estrogen containing foods or producing foods, then yes, you would cut back. But you also wouldn't eat the tofu every day. Like you want some variety. So, have it once or twice. You can, season it, air fry it, bake it. Tofu really takes on the flavor of whatever you mix it with. So the seasonings, the herbs, that sort of thing. So I'm not a huge tofu fan just because I don't care for it. I'll eat it once in a while. I normally don't eat it on detox, but every once in a while I'll get some and make it. But it's just I'm just not a huge fan of it.
And I think it's great because we all like to have different things, which is why this is such a wonderful time to get inspired in the kitchen with foods that you like, and just recreate them. I love tofu because it's higher in protein than, say, chickpeas or butter beans. And I love it in the air fryer. I season it with, herbs and spices, a bit of chili, put it in the air fryer, and it's delicious. And use it to kind of, with some steamed veggies. Um, but variety, keeping it simple, plant-based is just really what this process is all about. And we've had another question in the group about caffeine. So Cassie says, can you use iced decaf coffee with DNS shake in the morning, or should we cut decaf coffee as well? No, you absolutely. So you don't need to cut caffeine at all. We do recommend you try and keep it to one small organic cup per day with your morning shake. So you can certainly use iced decaf coffee if it's just, organic decaf is what we recommend. So Swiss waterpress coffee. So you don't need to cut decaf at all. You can enjoy a coffee if you do, and we don't recommend you give it up at the same time. So you certainly can. And we've had some really great comments about detoxing. Kathleen says, quarterly detoxing has literally changed my life. I'm so happy to have found Dr. Cabral and so absolutely grateful every day to be on this journey. As to Kathleen, thank you so much for sharing. And Pam says, the detox was a game changer for me. 21 days the first time, 7 days each quarter. Pam, I hope that you are joining us on Monday. And Linda says, this is a holistic detox for me, mind, body, and spirit. And just to touch on that, this process for me is undoubtedly the biggest impact is on my mindset, bringing me back to just how incredible our body is. Because, as I say, we live in an environment that almost encourages overindulgence. It's so easy to have another drink, have another snack. Whatever we want is always available, and I'm always going to say to you, like, the fast can be hard. It can be really, really challenging. For some people, you might find it really easy, which is why, again, we say go in with an open heart and open expectations to how you might or might not feel, because what's the worst that can happen is that you modify because your body is telling you that it needs something. But we don't want you to push past any point of discomfort or go too low blood sugar that you go into, hypoglycemic symptoms. But know that our body is designed to utilize stored energy. And actually, we want to get more efficient at utilizing stored reserves, because when we're constantly eating, whether it's something unhealthy or healthy, you increase blood sugar, and that's your body's preferred fuel source. So it's going to automatically have that. So once you start to strip things back and put yourself into a bit of, stabilized blood sugar, you kind of waiting a little bit longer, you potentially eating a little bit less, your body really has time to upregulate the detoxification process. And in the beginning, those 2.5 days, increased detoxification, we go into a state of autophagy, which is actually, it translates into self-eating. So it is your body using, all the aquatic tissue and the cells and feeding off that. And that is what actually kind of brings that lightness in your body and mind and really starts to reduce those levels of inflammation. And for me, even though living a healthy lifestyle, one of the most, it's always really interesting is that I carry a lot of toxic inflammation. We all do, because as Michelle said at the beginning, why we detox, the food we eat, if we aren't eating organic food, pesticides are sprayed in our food, our tap water, if we're drinking alcohol, if we're eating sugar, environmental toxins, we are literally exposed to, I think it's over 100,000 man-made chemicals on a daily basis. So this is why it really is just, it's a necessity. It's no longer a nice to have. It's a must-do process. And if you just let yourself experience it once, I'm pretty sure you will be back.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the autophagy. You can learn about that in the detox course that we'll link up here as well. Autophagy is we like to think of it as a little Pac-Man. So the longer that you are in a fasted state, and the shake takes you out of a fast briefly, but you go right back into the state of autophagy. The longer that your body is doing that cellular cleanup, like you said, think of a little Pac-Man eating up those bad cells and the things that your body doesn't need anymore. So that's what's happening during autophagy when you are not eating. You can do it also during every night when you do your overnight fast. We recommend 12 to 14 hours overnight fasting, intermittent fasting, it's called, for most people. And that's easily to be done. You could, stop eating at 6 p.m., on a normal basis, and you might not eat again till 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. the next morning. So that's your 12 to 14 hours. So during that time of your body not digesting food, it's working on healing and repair. And that's what we want. And by the help of the detox shakes and the supplements, that's what's happening when you're in this state of autophagy. And for 2.5 days, the longer you can go, that's the goal, is to get into that longer state of autophagy for those benefits. If you can't do it, as Lauren said, modify. It's okay. Just modify according to the detox guidelines. Start your meals like days 3 through 7, or add berries to your shake. Another thing a lot of people talk about is not, if you may not care for the taste of the shake. Some people, especially on the first 2 days, it's 1 scoop per shake. So it may taste a little watery. So I like to add a little cinnamon and cardamom to my shakes. That helps a lot. Some people blend them with ice. I know Lauren has a little shake pudding she'd like to tell us about.
I do. So that's actually one of my favorite things to do during the fast, and actually mostly on day two, and also in the colder season. So I just find by day one, I generally don't have much hunger unless I have come from a more unbalanced state overall. But on day two, I love to just make a pudding. It's not a pudding, don't get excited. It's just DNS powder with a little bit less water. And you kind of mix it into a thicker shake. And for me, it just feels like a little bit more liquid in my tummy. And then just be sure to have adequate hydration on the side to make sure that you're drinking enough liquid throughout the day. And that is just, one of my favorite little things to do. And on or off detox, in the afternoon, you can have a shake. You can make a little shake pudding and you can add some berries or some nuts and seeds after detox. But it just is really a great balanced snack that I love.
Another thing we like to recommend is don't forget about your electrolytes. Upon waking, get that lemon water in. Lemon water and a little bit of sea salt. It's going to help. As you're hungry and going through the autophagy, your blood pressure might be a little bit low. Your blood sugar is definitely going to be a little bit low. And keeping up with those electrolytes is going to help that. You might even have one of those midday. So every morning, even during detox, I drink my warm lemon water. I do lemon and lime with my sea salt, warm water every morning. So I continue to do that during the detox. And depending on my activities during the day, I might also have one in the afternoon. So that's a big one to keep up with.
Absolutely. And what I was saying earlier is that what you will learn in this detox, yes, it's a 7-day, 14-day, 21-day, but so many of the principles are foundations that you can continue with. We have a lot of people that ask, how do I maintain my results after detox? How not to retox after you detox? And it really is about the little foundation that you're going to learn over the next 7, 14, 21 days can be adjusted forever. As I said earlier, I don't eat similarly on or off detox. I add more variety. I like to, facilitate a little bit of extra weight loss during my detox, so I might reduce carbohydrates. If you're somebody who's really active, a question that we get asked a lot is, can I work out on during my detox? It really depends on you. We don't really recommend high intensity workouts on your fasting days. I love going for long walks. I've just started cold plunging in the sea, so that I love it so much. But, just really listen to your body. And for me, I like to rest a little bit more, especially on my second day of fasting. So listen to what your body needs. I love my morning hydration. I think, the no snacking can be something that is really a game changer for anybody, because those, 200 to 500 calories extra a day that you're eating, sometimes even mindlessly, can be really, really insightful. So we are really excited to begin this detox with you on Monday. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on live. We've had so many great questions. One of our community is already started last Sunday, so you're almost a week ahead of us. You're doing 21 days. That's incredible. We look forward to sharing your second week with you. Little jumpstart. That's great. We also appreciate you being here. And those of you who've got your husbands involved, that's wonderful. And as you say, Kathleen, start where you are. Remember the end goal. It gets easier over time. The more detoxes you do, modify if necessary, believe in yourself. We are just, our community really is what makes this process even more special, because starting, as you said at the beginning, is the hardest part. Like it's hard after 12 weeks of, you kind of you always start with the best intentions, but life happens, things happen. And we also just, as we wrap up this call, don't worry, it's not about perfection. Michelle touched on this earlier. It's about just you're never going to have things are never going to be perfect. They don't need to be, but the awareness of this process is what it's about for the long term. So, you can go out for supper, you can go out for lunch and apply the foundations as best you can. You're not going to mess up anything unless you fall into a bucket of KFC and 3 bottles of wine. You really are going to be okay. So, just enjoy the process and also reach out. So we are here with you every step of the way. We're starting on Monday, and just thank you to all of you for signing in.
Yes, thank you all for joining us, and please reach out with any questions. We're here to support you, share those detox meals, and remember, it's such a short time in the whole scheme of life to be without our favorite foods. I know I say that often, but just remember that one day at a time. If you're going to do 7 days, great. If you want to do 14 or 21, great. Don't commit to all that right away. Just do the day you're in. Take one day at a time, one shake at a time. All right.
And
Thank you,
just one,
everybody.
one, one, one last thing before we go. Please let us know if you're joining us in the detox group. The support and interaction of all of us is really what keeps the momentum going, and we love your recipes. We love them. As I say, it's my 6th year of doing this detox. And every time I learn a new recipe, Michelle's broccoli salad's become one of my favorites too. So from days 3 to 7, we want to see you post your morning shakes, post what you're doing, post how you're feeling. And let's just, look forward to spring cleaning for all of you, autumn cleaning if that's a thing. But thank you all for watching. We wish you a happy, happy weekend. Mish, it's always wonderful to be back with you, my virtual BFF detox buddy. And I will chat to you all soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lauren. And we'll see you next week in our
Thanks,
detox.
Mish.
Bye bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.